I'm going to break something down to you. And to help me break this down, I'm going to go to a clip here. This is courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. I was on 92.3 The Fan with Jonathan Peterlin. And me and him was talking about something. Let me set this up. Jonathan Peterlin is a guy, he's a Shedeur Sanders fan as well. He was a guy who said he wanted him number 2. He had always beat the drum for Shedeur Sanders. He was on with another one of his hosts, and he was talking about it. And he said somebody had said they had soured on Shedeur Sanders. They had, thought about, well, maybe I was high on him, and now I'm kind of second guessing. And I'm guessing this came around the whole speeding thing, or then came around where he's not getting first team reps, or it came around all the hype and hysteria that people was trying to make it seem like people was in a cult or some sort, like they didn't Shedeur wasn't good, and they're just supporting him. I don't know why he's popular, all that good stuff. So Jonathan Peterlin says, how could any media member or fan sour on Shedeur Sanders and there hasn't been anything done? He hasn't played any games. And in practice, he's killing it with the 1 or killing it with the 3s or the 4s or the 2, whatever. He's not even getting first team reps. And people is upset about it. But the reps he's getting, he's balling. So how is it that you're soured on him when you haven't seen any sort of concrete evidence to say, oh, this is why I'm souring on the situation. This is why I can't do the Shedeur Sanders thing. And so I talked to him. We were having a conversation, and I was telling him, when I heard that on the radio, he was saying, it sparked something in my head. You know how I do. Because I try to understand human nature. I try to figure out why people think the way they do. Because I do see that, not from everybody, but we are a different bunch here. The Browns media and our fan base, we're a little bit of a different bunch, right? They're my bunch. I love them, but you all got that family member that is kind of, And so this was my explanation because it just hit me. I'll be just my intuition. It just comes and hits me like boom. I'm like, that's what it is. You see if you agree with me. We'll come back and listen to this clip. And we'll unpack this, but I think this is why we are where we are, where you get people that one person to say Flacco is great, one person to say Shedeur is great, one person to say it's Dylan Gabriel, it's one person that's over in the corner to say all of them is terrible. There's another person over there that just act like they don't like the brand. The conversation is all over the place in our market. Why is that? Here's my thoughts on the situation. It's to be something that is not revolved around actual action on the field. Like it's like, we use things like he's a 5th round pick or he slid in the draft or any of that. And I always thought that, yeah, that's great. He's a 5th round pick, but once you get here, it's about evaluating what he does in your jersey, right?
Exactly.
And I thought about it and I tried to figure out why a lot of people think that way. And I had to go back and say, the Browns haven't won anything since 1989. They haven't even won a division since 89. And I remember us talking about
the year I was born.
We used to talk about that on the pregame and postgame shows all the time. And what happens is there is a level of maturity that the media and the fan base gets to when you're covering or watching a team that has success. Because you get to experience all the levels of maturity. You get to go from, hey, we drafted this guy. We saw what a successful quarterback looks like. We got a coach in here. We see what a successful coach looks like. We go through the process of saying, okay, well, now we're building, putting guys around. We lost in the first round. Oh, wow. Listen, we overachieved this year.
It's the crawl to walk to run. You're basically describing a childhood, right? You're from birth to then a toddler to then, hey, you're in 5th grade. And then now all of a sudden you're in high school and then you're graduating college.
There it is. And so when all those fan bases, as they talk about certain things, they have of acquired knowledge of being around that team, so they know different points. And there's a maturity of the conversation what they're talking about. When you see the Chiefs, they're talking about nuances to the offense. They're talking about tweaking this here or there. They're not talking about whether somebody is good, period.
Yeah, they have daily conversations about their left tackle.
There it is. Things that are not overarching things. They don't have, hey, do we have the right owner? Do we have the right coach? Can we find a quarterback?
Yeah, because their main pieces are all in place.
They're there.
And that's the fun part, by the way, when you get to that spot, is that you do get to focus in on some of the other things that it's almost a luxury at sorts.
Yes.
Like, could you imagine having a knock 'em out, drag 'em out conversation about the little things that Chiefs fans get to have? It's very different.
It's a very niche argument. When you're in second grade, obviously you love gym. Obviously, like, you love drawing and recess, and you get snack time, and you even get to take naps sometimes.
I still like snack time.
Look, it's beautiful. If you're in second grade and you get held back again, and you're in second grade the next year, you start to rethink some things. Like, hold on, like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't want to be in the gym class. I'm already bigger than everybody last year. I'm bigger than everybody now. And so the Cleveland Browns fan base, because there is no success, there is no growth, there is no other conversations with the media. We are perpetually living in second grade forever. And now we are sitting here, we're 18 years old, looking around with a bunch of little kids, and our conversation has not evolved. Our frame of reference has not evolved. You know how frustrating it is that we are sitting here, and all of us, not just me, not just you, nobody has seen winners. Go back to 89. The team left in 95. They've been terrible since 2000.
Yeah.
So the people who saw Bernie Kosar be good, God rest their soul, most of them are no longer here. When you lose Jim Donovan and Jim Brown, and you start to be like, man, there's guys, when Joe Thomas has to have a hip replacement, that just goes to show you've been watching the same level of football forever. So when you have the conversation about whether a guy is good or not, or why there's such wild conversations between it's Flacco. Some people think it's Pickett. Some people think Dylan Gabriel's better. Some think it's Shadoris better. No one knows who's going to start. Well, the reason you have that much variance is because we are all sitting here and we don't have any context. We don't have any experience with winning and knowing what it looks like, because those other teams know. See, when you break it down like that, you start to understand. You can see it. We're perpetually in second grade, having second grade conversations. And remember what I said before about fairy tales and narratives and all these things. When you are in second grade, people use fairy tales and narratives to give you context in the world. But as you get older, you get experience, real life experience. So you then see and can understand in real time, in real life, how you think about certain things, how you think at a different, deeper meaning behind things. And so when you're sitting here and we have not won a division championship since 1989, and you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers tear it down, build it up, and still be better than you. Quarterback is great, retired. Ben Roethlisberger, 21 and something against you, 21-2, 21-3 against you. More wins than your quarterback has in his own home building, and he plays for the Steelers. You watch Joe Flacco and Ray Lewis and those guys in the Baltimore Ravens, who used to be the Cleveland Browns. They leave Cleveland, and by the year 1999, 2000, they are already Super Bowl champions. Let that sink in. 95, they leave. 99, they are Super Bowl champions. And you've been stuck in this era, stuck in this mediocrity, not even mediocre. The NFL is about parity, and you still can't get out your own way. And what happens is, when you get to a point, you're living so long in that dark pit, when you get out, it's like somebody being institutionalized. They start to think that being in prison is what life is living like. Instead of them hating that somebody tells them when they wake up, when they brush their teeth, when to eat, when to sit down. And when you get in there, it's a shock and you hate it. But then when you get in there so long, guess what? That becomes a way of life. That becomes what you believe to be reality. So your freedom, as you walk up and down the street, instead of it being freedom, it becomes fear. Why are they looking at me? Oh, gosh. Why is that person going to run up on me? I don't know what to do with myself. I just feel like I'm overwhelmed. Put me back in that 3x2 cell. When you're the Cleveland Browns and you've been in the dark so long, how do you know what the light looks like? When you've seen bad quarterbacks play week and year after year and after year and over again, how do you trust your own eyes to tell you what a good quarterback looks like? If you couple that with the fact that they're not watching film, they're not breaking any tape down, they're not sitting with anybody doing X's and O's. So let me get this straight. You didn't watch him play in college. When I ask you, why don't you think he's good? You point to another person's opinion and say, I'm not an expert in that. I'm just take their word for it. And then you've never seen any good quarterbacks play. As a matter of fact, I can't even point to any in Cleveland. And it's different from looking at a quarterback from afar on another team successful than looking at the one you got right now. So if you've never seen a good quarterback play, you don't watch film or break it down, you have not seen the quarterbacks that you really are looking at now play in college, and now you dismiss what you see in plain sight, all in the sake of narratives. And that's how you get to a point where 5th round picks become the storyline. That's how you get where people get focused on 5th round instead of focusing on football. Describe the football. Describe the accuracy. Describe what's going on in front of you. But when you're in 2nd grade, it's kind of hard to express your feelings. That's why we have to have naps. That's why we have to have timeout. Why that, there's expectations where, if you're bad, they take smiley faces off the board and you get 5 smiley faces before there's consequences because you can't control your emotions. You don't know what's going on. And frankly, you're just trying to make it throughout the day without spazzing out. So they got to give you art. They got to give you recess. They got to give you story time. They got to give you music. They got to give you a bunch of other different things that don't have anything to do with math, arithmetic, reading, spelling, all of that. They give you other things on the margins to keep you focused for small groups and spots of time. We're going to go to music, then we're going to do spelling. Then we're going to go to recess. When you get back, then we'll do some geography. Then we're going to color. All in the meantime, all the other NFL franchises with the Mahomes and the Burrows and the Josh Allens and all of the Jalen Hurts and the quarterbacks that continuously lead their teams to playoff wins, the teams that consistently go about doing things, the teams that are now at a level where now it's like, oh, we got a quarterback and a coach. Now we're going to worry about the offensive line. We're going to figure out how we get past certain teams. You see, that's the older kids. That's called high school, and that's called where you don't have to talk about coloring or recess. See, in high school, they expect you to just go to class. You don't have gym or recess. As a matter of fact, if you don't want a lunch mod, you could just fill it up with classes. You're expected to go to class without breaks. You're expected to not have outbursts and talk through teachers' lectures or need a nap in the middle of the day. You know why? Because you're mature. You've been through it. There's an understanding level of what type of time we on. Here in Cleveland, we still in 2nd grade, still talking about naps and recess, still talking about coloring and arts, because we're still talking about things that don't matter. We're still focused our energy on things that don't matter, that don't count. And that's where we are. And until the Cleveland Browns get to a point where they can start to put wins together, start to be functional, start to understand that, listen, sometimes you're going to slip up on something. It's the difference between the Cleveland Browns and the rest of the teams. The Cleveland Browns say he's a 5th round pick. The San Francisco 49ers says he's a 7th round pick. His name is Brock Purdy, and I think he can play. So we're going to replace the guy we spent 3 draft picks to get, Trey Lance. And we realized that Trey Lance wasn't good. So we're going to pivot and take the 7th round kid, put him in and see what he does. That's the difference between us and them. Because they didn't say he's a 7th round pick. They said he's the best option. They didn't say that whoever they drafted first has to be the guy that plays. No, they said, I have trust in my eyes, my evaluation, and what I see on the football field. Not fairy tales, horseshoes, golden clovers, unicorns. They look at what happens on the field, and they determine he's better than him. So we're going to play him no matter where we took him. There's levels to this. So when people ask, why does the Browns fan base do this? Well, I'll tell you. We haven't seen winners. People don't really be studying and putting no time in and look at nothing and no film work. They're not doing that. So if you don't know the film and you're not studying and all you've seen is bad football and you don't know what good football looks like, you're going to start talking about, can we all say it? 5th round picks. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I'm just a messenger. Don't be mad. Just saying. Let's get to your thoughts. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I was tripping. RC Chef. He is proud to be a Brown, and he's doing all the work necessary to not let the team in his adopted city down. I appreciate you, RC. We appreciate you. Great Devil 82. We are not dumb. Keep the truth coming, G. Bush. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, dog. Like that Yankees, too. That Yankees hat. Stefanski need to let Shador off the leash. Put him in attacking mode with his winning mindset. We ain't taking for Arch Manning. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Andrew Berry's on the hot seat. Neil Gray, let me dive into this real quick. Let me get to this real quick. 1,900 people in here on the 4th of July weekend. I like that. Now tapped in. I like that. We ain't taking for Arch Manning. See, I'm the one calling it out. Under no circumstances, and remember where you heard this here first. And so you have to preemptively do this type of stuff, or people will try to play mind games with you a little bit. Under no circumstances is Shador Sanders, if he's going to be the last man up, because there's an option for that. Understand that. There's an option in the deck where Dylan Gabriel gets the first opportunity to play over Shador Sanders. In the case that Flacco or Dylan Gabriel played before Shador Sanders, I don't want to hear no noise, no energy, none of that. And he played 4 games. And talk about, because here's what's going to happen. The goal, and this is how people do. Oh, we're going to play him 4 games. And in that 4-game process, it's not enough time to either evaluate whether he's good or evaluate if he's bad. It's going to be inconclusive. What they'll pivot to then is, well, if it was inconclusive, there's no way that you can pass on a generational type quarterback. There's no way you could pass on generational X, Y, and Z. And by the way, that will change whatever happens. By the way, look, most people are going to tell you that any of the 5 or 6 names that they cook up next year are already better than Shador Sanders. So you're going to be like, dang, G. Bush, you was right. Dang, I can't believe it. Yeah. Whether it don't got to be Arch Manning. I did a blog on Ultimate Browns. Make sure you check that out. that said Cade Klubnik was the first overall. Now, I done watched Cade Klubnik play a lot. Nothing about this man's game says number 1 overall pick. He's a good quarterback, but he not. I mean, it looks like it's a variation of Jackson Dart. But they didn't already put it there. Drew Aller. What are you talking about Drew Aller for? Why? Because he from the area? I watched him play against Notre Dame and couldn't complete a pass. Period. But they'll say that Shador's completion percentage, that don't count for nothing. It's so easy for people to dismiss and approve certain things. So here's the thing. They need to be talking about this. You need a body of work. You need a large sample size. I'm not dealing, Shador Sanders should at least be playing 8 to 10 games this year. Because the point is, this is how bad organizations do stuff. You figure out if you got a quarterback, and instead of burning picks, lighting picks, and throwing them in the air, have a plan. If you thought that you were, and this is the thing, if you thought that Shador Sanders was not a guy that you wanted to pick and it was worth it, and if you thought Dillon Gabriel was a guy that you was just taking so you can appease people, so you can fast forward next year to get to the next year, why'd you draft him then? I would rather you just not draft him and say, my plan is I like this guy in this draft, and my plan is X, Y, and Z. I might not agree with it, but at least I can say he's standing on what they standing on. Right now, what plan is that? I'm not about to sit here and watch Flacco play 5 games and Pickett play 6 games and Dillon Gabriel play 5 or 6 games, and then Shador, you gonna act like this was the tryout. That is not a tryout. It's not a tryout. Because in that case, that means he probably is not going to get any first-team reps during camp. That means you let all 3 of those quarterbacks, 2 of them that you know aren't going to be on the roster next year, go ahead of him. For what? Then you had Dillon Gabriel go, right? So then we get to Shador Sanders. He plays 4 games, and then you want to play these little games like you gave him an opportunity or the shot was there. He just didn't take an example. If he was good, he would have been able to just be in there. Like no. We're not going to do that. And I'm letting you know what the game plan is. And I'm going to be pushing back at it a lot. There's a reason why I was upset. I said, they're going to take a defensive tackle. And what do? You got to know him from afar. So my thing is, no. I'm not about to lose no games. If it was me, I'm playing rookies. I don't care nothing about, I'm just be honest with you. Because I need to know whether or not I could, if I got a first-round draft, I got 2 first-round picks, how great would it be if you find out that you got a franchise quarterback and he's a rookie, and you can actually take one of those 2 draft picks of next year and actually make the roster better? Like, let me go ahead and get me a receiver. Let me go ahead and I could take the best available. I might be able to get another. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But you would rather not see what you got, force yourself to take another first-round pick, then have to mortgage both picks to even get up to where you need to get said quarterback. What? Boy. Neil. G. Bush. Why reporters talk about tanking to get a quarterback out of college next year? What quarterback in next year's draft is better than Shador when none of them were better than Solo? Now, what you need to understand is you need to stop making sense, my good sir. Why are you trying to come up here and make all that good sense? I said that I was saying this the other day. Where's these new quarterbacks they was getting off from Jupiter? Let me do the math on this. So hold on. So Shador came out this year. Shador was playing last year. So Arch Manning Oh, Arch Manning was playing in college football, right? Doggone shame. He couldn't even be out Quinn Ewers at the bench last year. Quinn Ewers is like a 6th or 7th round pick. Couldn't beat him out, and he was hurt. By the way, people were talking the year before about tanking for Quinn Ewers. I thought Drew Aller played in the same. Didn't he play last year? Numbers weren't the same. He had much better talent too, but all these quarterbacks played last year. If they were so nice, why are they not in this draft? If they were so nice, but we're going to lose all our games, not play the quarterbacks we got now because we don't want to rush them in there. We don't want to. That's a lie too. All that rushing them in there stuff, that's called shot clock violations. Y'all be playing these Jedi mind tricks. People telling we don't want to rush them in there. No, I actually would like to rush them. Because what I want to do is I want to play them against guys that are good. I want to see what they can do against Baltimore. I want to see what they can do against Pittsburgh, because that's actually how you see if someone's good, right? But what you'll do is say, don't play them against good competition. And then at the end of the year, when they play competitions that's not as good and people aren't playing, or people are injured, or people are banged up, or half the offensive line is done, or half the receiving core is injured, or then you're going to tell me, well, he didn't look that good. Or if he do look that good, oh, it was against people that weren't playing. They had nothing to play for, G. Bush. Why would you? Yeah, Cass is funny. Who would Andrew Berry's replacement be if this season blows up? That's a good call. What up, Greg? What up, Cuds? This is wild. I wouldn't know. I don't have a short list. This is the catch-22. You bring up a good point. Because as I've always thought, the game plan is different based on who you talk to. Andrew Berry keeping his job is not necessarily the same protocol as Kevin Stefanski keeping his job. Let me explain. The thing about Kevin Stefanski is it seems like the Game of Thrones. Kevin Stefanski has more goodwill. If you ask the fan base, they say Stefanski or Berry, pick one. 90% of the fan base is going to say Stefanski. Know why? Even though it may not be necessarily that true, Stefanski has awards. They give out awards all the time for executives. Andrew Berry has none. Andrew Berry also has some very glaring things, like Jed Wills, top 10 pick, bust. He keeps drafting defensive tackles, and they're not doing anything. He has his track record with receivers is atrocious. The best players that we've had come from the other previous regime. So it's nasty work. He actually, to be truthful, and he's not really smart about it, all of them is silly. If Shedeur Sanders hit, that saves his job. Okay, if Dylan Gabriel hit too, that'll save his job too. But what are you doing? If I'm the general manager, I'm in on that. Because he thinks that somehow, I don't know why, that he has this cachet built up where if they take these L's this year and they tank to get another quarterback out of the college, why would I trust you to pick said quarterback? You didn't develop the two quarterbacks that you got now. You didn't even try. You didn't get the best out of Deshaun Watson. Baker Mayfield played for somebody else, but he never threw for 4,000 yards for you. Where y'all act, my problem is they act like they playing with house money. And my other problem is the media trying to gaslight you, trying to act like that they ain't got no, like they completely have nothing to worry about. Why are we talking like everybody? This is my thing too, and I'm the only one saying it. If you said it out there, please don't be offended. I said that at one time, but you ain't say it like this. If you telling all these quarterbacks need to be up for a competition and they need to earn this reps, earn these reps, earn this, earn that, you better earn your keep. I'll be cracking me up. People be talking about what you gonna earn. You need to earn your game plan. You act like you wasn't 3-14 last year. Talk about you gotta earn it. No, bro, you might want to earn it. That'd be cracking me up when you be part of a terrible organization. Like, that's another thing too, bro. It is what it is. But I got pride in what we doing, but the Browns have been terrible. And it's my team, and I like them, but they've been terrible. But don't be running around. People got this high hope. They so up in the clouds like you didn't win any games last year. You didn't win no games. And by the way, you people talk about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was done after 6 games. What did you do the rest of the 11? You talk about people. I listened to the conversation. Mary Kay had a conversation or whatever she said that in her article that the Cleveland Browns weren't thrilled that Deshaun Watson wasn't around during his rehab. That's my problem. That's that second grade stuff again. Not saying anything about her being a second, none of that. I'm just saying the conversation around the Cleveland Browns revolves around things that don't matter. My problem is that you talk about they weren't enthused that he wasn't around. They should be running around trying to win football games. What are you not enthused with? That's crazy to me. You 3-something. You got opportunities to win football games, but you got coaching staff members in front office talking about somebody that has a torn Achilles heel that has to have surgery and is not playing. It's next man up, bro. But you're still trying to look around for somebody to blame. Get your ass together and win some games. Stop blaming people and get hard on yourself. You lost 11 games after that. You gave up the playbook to Dorsey after that. You had 11 opportunities to win after that. And people was running around here trying to point fingers. It was on him the whole season. The whole season went down the drain. That's a loser mentality, and it's a sucker mentality. All them dudes got an opportunity to get out there and do what they need to do. Feed their families and make plays. But instead of making plays, you make excuses. And every single year, just because we like the team and we like the people around, I'm not making no excuses for you, bro. You were 3-14. So stop trying to sell me like we got all of this in place and everything is moving. We don't got nothing moving. And everybody better be working for their job. Talk about all that extra stuff. You got to earn it. You need to earn it. Again, let it sink in. 1989 is the last time. Now, I didn't ask you to win the championship. I didn't ask you to win the Super Bowl. I didn't say go to the AFC Championship. I said it's the last time you won the division of 4 people. You can't be the best out of 4 people in 30 years. You can't be the best out of 4 people. Not the whole nation, not the whole city, not the entire Milky Way. You got to beat the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Bengals. You have not won your division since 1989. But we telling other people to earn it. Boy. When Shador said it, if you want to win and change the culture, then I'm your guy. He meant it. The Cleveland media will understand that he is him. I hope he is too. The 5th round argument is BS. Why do they spend so much time with Shedeur Sanders, if they felt that way prior to the draft, lies. No one talked about DG at all. Go back and check my little, what's the name too, trailer out. Bianca, go check my trailer out. Check my short. Y'all can say I'm a conspiracy theorist to start with. This has all been orchestrated. It's all been orchestrated. Cleveland Browns were punished because they took Deshaun Watson and gave him a guaranteed contract. Until the Haslams apologize, which they did in public, they were no longer in good graces from the NFL. They said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You apologize for it, we'll move on. We're going to help you recoup some of that. They said, what you talking about? Shedeur going to slide. We're going to slide. Ain't nobody else taking him. They've already made that decision, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns will get him, and they'll give him in the 5th round. It's already written, and it's already been established that they went out to visit and spend time with him. Why would you do that if he's a 5th round, if you had him 5th round on your board? You don't do that. People don't go out and spend time with 5th round picks all that time because you could get them in the 5th or 6th, right? There's no urge. You know what it is. But the league said, he's going to fall. We could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll humble Shedeur Sanders. We'll say, hey, listen, hey, Prime, you are not the Mannings. We're going to make sure that you understand certain things. And then guess what? Cleveland Browns got Shedeur Sanders still in the 5th round. He's making pennies on the dollar. And guess what? That little thing about Deshaun Watson and the cap and all that other stuff. Well, you don't have to worry about the cap if you're not playing your starting quarterback any money anyway, do you? You keep Deshaun Watson on the team and guess what? They say, hey, Deshaun, you're going to play football. You're going to play ball too. So here's how the council going to handle this. We understand what we had to make an example out of you, but it's all business. It's just business. We had to make sure no other teams is going to give out these guaranteed contracts. But you, sir, all you got to do, be a good soldier. Browns may need to extend you a few times, open up some cap space. You know, you weren't around the team before. Hey, come in and mentor. All of a sudden, the stories is coming out. Oh, Deshaun Watson's been great mentoring the young guys. Come in and mentor, rehab, do your thing. And then what we'll do, we can help rehabilitate your image, and the council will give you another opportunity somewhere else, right? So this is how we're going to clean this up a little bit. We'll get you together. But you, hey, gotta play ball. Don't be running around here talking about starting. Don't be running around here talking about all this other stuff that you plan on playing, all that. No. Be cool. We'll let you continue your career somewhere else. We can't take the contract from you. But that's how we're going to move with it. And that's how we clean that up. Now, it's been documented that they already been colluding. They didn't already sent the emails around talking about we colluded. And by the way, they buried that story. They buried that story by having the Justin Tucker story out after that. Mike Florio even said they buried the story. He said, it's funny how ironic that Justin Tucker's story came out right the day after my story about collusion. Oh, and by the way, there was no counsel needed for Justin Tucker's case. He said, the league said, hey, what you're going to do is you're going to plea bargain. Before we even need to go to that, we're going to decide, arbitration. We'll decide that you get 10 games. You won't get as many as Deshaun Watson, but you're going to get 10. Story came out. You haven't heard about collusion anymore, have you? I'm just telling you how it is. People talk, 10 hat foil G. Bush. Listen, I told you about the collusion before. I'm just talking. Just talking a little bit. Yoshi Doshi 2006. I've seen his first team reps, long touchdown to Judy. People are now talking about Shedeur starting early. My opinion, he'll just be ready. He's ready to be let off the leash. I see y'all been talking. Hey, they talk about letting him off the leash. Talk about letting him spin it. Solo Zeke says Browns don't want to win for real, knowing they could have had Travis and Shedeur could have been. Woo! I don't stop telling me about them. Don't you do that to me. I'm just now getting over that. It's like, have you ever have an ex and you going through it and you be like, man, I was just getting over talking to you and you just gonna pull up, talk about, hey, just checking on you, seeing what you're doing. Checking on me. Stop calling me too. Gee, why isn't the media talking about getting weapons with the 2 first rounds next year? None of these QBs will with only Judy to pass to keep cooking. Because G. Bush's bad back. Let me tell you about this. Again, you'll go back to it. Sometimes we're talking about the conversations when you're in 2nd grade. Have you ever noticed that kids only talk about 2 or 3 things when you get older, or excuse me, when you're younger? They talk about 2 or 3 things like cartoons and fruit snacks and playing. Like that's all you know. That's your whole universe. So for in the media, we are talking about 2 things. We talk about quarterbacks and we talk about, like, is the coach or the owner good? That's it. We're in 2nd grade. We can't think past anything else. We're still stuck in the mud to a point where we believe that receivers are a luxury, not a necessity. We're still to a point where we're so old school thinking that play action is somehow a play. Play action is not a play, dog. Play action is a style. We are to the point where we still think all receivers are divas and that we could get a bunch of guys that are rudimentary, solid guys that run 4.6s and we'll be okay. Again, when you don't elevate and don't understand, the next point is once we see that we have a quarterback, again, it's the analogy with school. Then we'll start to elevate when we start to see our franchise quarterback don't have help. Then everybody will clamor and say, oh my gosh, we don't have anybody to throw the ball to. Oh my goodness, we don't have receivers like that. And then you're like, yeah, I told you that for the last 7 years. If you would have prioritized finding out if you have a quarterback this year, guess what you could do next year? Take those picks and build around said quarterback that you found out about this year. But instead, you're backwards. You want to fast forward this year, not get any information on what you're doing, and then go into next year and do the same thing over with another quarterback and tell us that this is going to be greater because this next quarterback is the Messiah. That's why. Oh, no, not trying to get you in too much trouble. Adam Schefter, sorry about never tweeted about collusion. That was a Freudian slip. Mike Florio. My good sir. Yeah, Mike Florio talked about the collusion. And on Pro Football Talk. So yeah, you are correct. That is not Adam Schefter never talked about that. Appreciate you for definitely correcting me on that. I only talk 3 things now: football, money, and beer. Oh man, you funny, man. You guys are funny. Let's get to this real quick. Let's get to this. Speaking of funny, talk a little hoops. Talk a little hoops. Where am I enjoying that? Your boy LeBron, is he flirting or is this what this mean?